On Crest, Seer and Echo put up some very good numbers, and while they beat Sandbox, who ended up getting eliminated today, I want to see how they perform in these first few defenses, and if they can put up a lot of good rounds against Geekay, even if they lose, I'll feel very good going into their BO3 later if they end up losing this game.
Yeah, most definitely. So Crest is going to ban out Thatcher. Wow, we're reaching deep in the bag here. Yeah, a little worried about the Thatch, huh? I mean, in the modern day, I mean, we could touch on this, right? EMPs, they're such a broad topic now that so many people have them in their arsenal that Thatcher just really doesn't elicit a ban all that often anymore. So Crest might have something in the bag that they're really thinking about, maybe some Electro Claws or something like that. But we'll just have to see. There's a lot of interesting strats on Clubhouse, specifically around the garage area that you can pull off, right? We always think about the rafters and what you can do with locking up those garage doors, and that's something that Thatcher is pretty decent trying to assist. But actually, I would argue the impact EMP is even better since they actually obviously burst on the side of the wall. So we'll have to see exactly what gets banned out for the remainder of this. But Monty and Valkyrie going to be Geekay's bans.
Yeah, the Monty ban is a little surprising, but or at least, you know, for what we think of, because take away the Thatcher, Hibana, very common ban on Clubhouse to take away those hatches for the basement bomb sites. So her being left up, of course, you don't have the Thatcher to make it easy to avoid those Cades, for example, but the Monty being taken down means just forcing someone up garage or down main stairs a lot more difficult. For the defensive bans, I don't think these are particularly surprising, aside from the fact that, you know, Valkyrie, you get the C-Force from below, sure, Solus the intel from below, but Azami on the board makes CCTV a far more defensible bomb site. So what is really, you know, a fight between can we win basement, can we win gym, and if Azami's banned, all right, we'll try CCTV, maybe it doesn't work out. Now, the defense has a really viable opportunity to get those 3 defensive bomb sites all in a row.
Yeah, they do. It's going to be interesting, especially walking into this. They're going to be starting off downstairs. I think we might see that Ram come back here, especially for Noodle's sake. Yeah, exactly. I don't think we see this sniper. As soon as they start recognizing where the bomb site is truly going to be, you're not going to see Kali come in. And instead, it's going to be the gridlock. I really like that. We'll kind of lean into the operator lineup a little bit farther down the line because you can obviously see that they're trying to change some things up for this strategy that we got going on. But obviously, we can talk about things on a defensive end instead. Also, that Solus ban coming through. I had to touch on that for a second because that means a lot for the drone game of the offense. But as for Crest defense, this is very straightforward. This is exactly what you would want out of, I mean, any stack. You have your Warden, you have your Kaids for the hatch. Mira is always a great option here, and then Lua and Whiskey just to back things up in a typical way that you would see in Siege.
I think the one thing if you're worried about, though, if you're Crest right now, Lua wants to get aggressive, but he's got the only set of impact grenades, so if they want to impact trick the kitchen hatch, Lua's got to make sure he's in position, but given how aggressive he is, and he's the only projectile denial on the board, he'll probably be sitting in Generator for the majority of the round. Tiopi shot very early on. He'll back off, play behind that mirror, and it's a 2-man setup inside of blue right now, what is often kind of the nexus for a lot of pressure for the attack. Attacks can often be won or lost on whether the blue player is able to clear out this position, and Crest have recognized that and have stacked so much utility to keep it in their hands as long as possible.
And I really like how they stack Tiopi here too, because it really rests on the fact of him being successful on that cross and holding dummy box like his life depends on it, right? Because if you don't, there's a lot of different ways that Geekay can thwart your game plans, and honestly, a lot of ways that they can deal with a guy around dummy box, right? You pop open the kitchen hatch, there's a lot of different angles you can try and utilize from there, maybe bounce some nades over some things. It's just, you know, those little things you really have to be concerned with when it comes to this basement site. The more and more that things get stripped away, the more difficult it becomes to try and keep things locked down. Speaking of which, Eclair, they'll get it done in another Electro Shuffle for you and I on Clubhouse.
Yeah, we saw yesterday Sandbox against Crest try to do a lot of this mid-round utility to stall time. Crest weren't a big fan of it on Oregon, but in round 1, Crest very eagerly trying to do this. He's got the same Electric Claw, and they just leave it again. These X-Kairos take so long, too. Timing, no problem.
Yep. Incredible. And that's the key thing here is, you know, when you bring double hard breach like they do, you know, Key's got Selmas, but, you know, Leader's got the Habanas. The Selmas are a little bit faster, and they will beat the timing on the Electro Claws, but here's the thing, right? You have to use 2 of them. And, I mean, Noodle, if you're going to keep flirting with it, eventually one of these bolts is going to land.
Yeah, Crest going up or taking down one of the most prolific entry players on Geekay, having around 50 entry engagements total inside of the MENA League, and taken down so early on. If Crest can keep that up, that'll be a great omen for them in this series. The X-Kairos not detonating on Moto Hatch leaves the hard-breaching utility very strapped for Geekay moving into the remainder of this attack. Might have to dedicate Selmas, a lot of different things. Whiskey also facing some pressure as Hasham begins to push into the dirt tunnel. Second nade goes out. Whiskey slowly pulling back. Love this patience. Knows he needs to play his life right here. Not trying to get too aggressive, but Key might just succeed where Noodle failed. Spots 1, gets him. Spots a second 2, puts Tiopi down to about 1 HP. flirting with it so fervently, but Geekay still struggling to find presence in
no.
blue. It all crumbles in a matter of seconds as he clears the only one left. 1 HP and a C4, but he's got to keep his gun up for this one. Flashed completely. The attack has full control of the armory position. No need to even hunt down the Cade. You'll find one, but there's plenty of angles to cover this diffuser going down from Key Sam. It should be an easy post plant to wrap up.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough one. We can more than likely just lean into, how good of a round that was and the adaptations that we saw from Geekay. I think what I really liked was their ability to keep things on a solid pacing transitioning into the basement, because it really put Crest in a tizzy. You could see that they were so hot to trot when it came to the gunfights. They really wanted them to push in so that they could get these big kills, but they just patiently waited and just slowly were able to trickle away that HP. And then we obviously had that big moment there, about 25 seconds left, where 3 bodies hit the floor. And whenever you see that on your team, you're not going to be too happy. So.
No, and basement's always a tricky bomb site to attack. It often does come down to just winning those fights, and it can seem chaotic, it can seem hectic, but if you have individually skilled players...
TOP?
Oh my lord.
Oh, I bet he watched that and was not too happy. So, very unfortunate for him, but... I mean, past that, though, not too much really happening for Crest. Yeah, they're able to get a couple kills, but we're right back into the Geekay bag.
And that's the strength of Geekay especially. They can win those gunfights pretty consistently in 30-second, 20-second situations. But basement going the way of the attack will be a very, very good start for Geekay, despite the fact that Crest had a very solid setup. They had all the angles covered, just losing those fights in the moments that mattered ended up costing them round 1. On Gym Bedroom, even more of a necessity, as the attack has a lot more access to the bomb site or areas immediately surrounding the bomb site early on, thanks to that jacuzzi wall.
I miss the days of Maverick. I really do.
I was actually thinking about this a few days ago. The time of Maverick, even when he had nades, I get he was broad a lot, but Maverick tricking is always just such a fun thing to watch.
Can I be honest?
Be real, son.
I think we can give him frag grenades again.
You think so?
I really do. And the reason being is because he kind of meets right in the middle of being a hard support, but also a fragger, right? And I mean, in our current iteration of things, Gridlock, frag grenades, right? Sledge, frag grenades, and some odds and ends as well, including Glass. But it just feels like it really did fit him extremely well. Now, here's the main thing to talk about, because obviously everyone's going to want to say this as well. Frag grenades are indeed the best primary, or rather secondary utility in the game. So totally understand if anybody is like, Stokes, that's a little far out there, but I mean, he's just definitely one of those, operators that's so unique and just so cool to watch at the end of the day.
He is, and you can see right here the interaction on these hard breaching walls. Somebody might have forgot, because we don't see Maverick all that often, but if you just move down at least a line on the upper part of the wall and the bottom wall, should be able to blow it up. Yep, love that little destruction on the split wall. Don't think it actually destroyed the part of the Logi wall it sometimes does, but interesting decision from Geekay. Sometimes we'll see teams only get half the wall, but on Jacuzzi, they get the entire thing, then use the sledge to open it up. So quite a lot of angles available to them to watch main stairs and contest Whiskey and Bathroom.
I think the craziest thing is how well they've kept themselves on time. Eclair,
oh my lord,
right next door to Hasham, practically next door neighbors. Same zip code here. And I mean, Geekay, the beauty of this setup has most definitely got to be just how quickly they were able to get everything under their belt. Now they can start exposing things, whether it be from underneath or through other means. Lua catching a lot of frag grenades, but barely any HP off the board. And now they're trying to influence it from the window as well. Key's going to get one. Lua, I don't think you're going to be able to survive here very long. I haven't seen anybody exploit that outside portion of the building in a very long time either. Lua's going to go down to Trix. Trix with some great shots. Noodle as well, as he literally saves himself with that adrenal surge. If he did not have that extra HP, he is dead to rights. Whiskey, the last one remaining. Do they see his legs? He sees the legs of his opponent, but they see him, and he's dead immediately to the gun of Leader. And again, we just have to go back to how easy, breezy, and beautiful that was. They immediately set things up on Jacuzzi. They get the wall cutter, and whilst they're doing that, Leader's already working on the single panel. That pops open a lot of space and it forces the defense to have to cover a lot of ground all at the same time. You're stretched thin, right? But here's the hard thing about this top bomb site. You also look over at the far balcony, and you have so many issues when those angles start working in.
No, the rotations were really well. I mean, you're talking about the use of the outside balcony. I mean, you see Geekay hit that mid-round rotation. We've got Jacuzzi, we've got the con single. but we're not hitting the nades on main stairs, right? They're not missing. So what do we need to do? We'll keep throwing them, keep making them uncomfortable, but that'll buy time to have the guy rotate to that balcony, and you basically have a three-way pinch where somebody can push up bottom, somebody can push, well, obviously hold the top of it, and then somebody sit on that window. 2 rounds now, Geekay have had really solid coordinations and patience in the mid to late round. Instead of getting too aggressive, losing early fights, aside from Noodle in round 1, they have really done a good job so far of hitting those rotations, and even though Crest's setup is solid, slowly making them uncomfortable, and then capitalizing off those rotations.
Yeah, it's beautiful siege to witness, man. That's exactly what you want to see out of any team. It's just having that proper cadence and carrying that through to the bitter end. And so far, has not been bitter for Geekay at all, honestly. It's been very sweet. 2-0 start here on the offensive side. Things looking beautiful. And for all intents and purposes, I mean, this might be a huge map here from Geekay. This offensive side is already starting to come together really well. And we haven't seen too big of an adjustment here from Crest, but this is when we're going to start testing their metal. We're about to hit that full site rotation. Let's see what their adaptations are going to be.
Yeah, it might be the
nice right here.
Ooh, TOP, you gotta be careful you don't get cut off back to the bomb site as well. Thankfully, Leader holding a bit more of a passive angle, not very active. This is where Crest might need to start reconsidering that passive game they've been playing. They don't like to get aggressive. They aren't like one of those teams like CAG, for example, that get in your face, like to throw out these crazy strats. They play a very reserved game on the defense and the attack. This is a situation where Geekay are getting basically all the control they want, all the positions they want, all the setup they want at relatively little cost. And there is some efforts, Eclair, for example, having these hatches, but in terms of maybe a bit more aggressive positioning, Crest have really lacked that, unless Geekay have given them that opportunity. So maybe we see someone try to fight a little bit more, or some C4s from below, for example, from Eclair or Cyreneko. I think either of those might go a long way on getting this first basement round.
Well, Geekay setting up for the execute here yet again. We'll see if Eclair can potentially shuffle a couple of things. Does he double EMP? Because if he double EMPs, it's over. I think he is indeed. Yep, very well done. Eclair will now have the timing on that. That's going to be a hatch open. They're going to actually just, wow, triple check it. Really wanted to make sure that hatch was getting open, and I mean, why not? Things are much more manageable when it comes to the kitchen hatch as well. Anyways, you have all that soft destruction around it, so you can kind of thwart off anybody's game plans.
I do think you have to be careful, though, if Eclair does rotate it, say, to the church wall, as key, or they're them bringing the Hibana and the Ace, they do want to likely open up that church wall later on, so you might need to reserve that remaining frag grenade, for example, to worry about that. But we'll have to see where Eclair decides to put it. Hasham immediately, though, drops down Moto after that hatch has been opened up just about 20 seconds ago. Geekay, again, they love moving into these positions very quickly when they have the opportunity, because now he can start pressuring Lua inside of blue, though there is this mirror window to worry about. But because Lua is so focused on it, and that's the strategy Crest are going for to contest that position, Noodle might have an opportunity to sneak down.
Attackers have
that little audio play there from Hasham as well. Although he did burn that last EMP, more than likely got himself into Moto here, unbeknownst to the defense. You can see, it's like we were talking about earlier, Crest playing things a little bit patient. Now, the big problem was right up around this moment the last time where Crest got a little too antsy. They started swinging into things and really sending bodies over towards the side of Geekay. But this time, looks like the shoe is on the other foot. Eclair will be able to take down one. Noodle will move in, though. And with 15 seconds remaining, I mean, it's high time for something to happen here for the offense. And it looks like it's working swimmingly so far, but not if Tiopi's got something to say about it. And on such little time, they're going to have to try and find something to carve out here. Trix doesn't have time to try and get this kill, and Sorrel will be able to shut things down and get Crest's very first round.
Comes off the back of their setup. I mean, a lot of the gunfights that Geekay were able to win on the first round didn't present themselves at least as easily as they were before. The blue position specifically, Geekay had a good setup. They had Leader pushing down secret stairs, flashing in to allow Noodle on the Finca to flank up from Oil, then take the fight with the guy behind Generator without exposing himself to the dummy Mira. And that gunfight works out, but you still have to turn and deal with the Mira, as well as the player playing AK to hold that same position. So the control wasn't as solid. They didn't have the same success down Dirt, for example, and Hasham and Moto is still worried about that blue player on the Mira. So it was all a little bit more delayed just because of the setup from Crest, able to cause a bit more problems in this round than before. But the setup was fine on basement before. Geekay were just able to win those fights. I still want to see maybe a bit more adaptations if they go back to gym instead of just relying on the setup.
Yeah, and I mean, just to sing the praises of Geekay as well on this for these last 3 rounds here, they didn't adjust anything because they didn't need to. Yeah. You know, the whole reason the round went the way that it did is because Geekay was like, all right, well, we're just going to sit here and see if they want to peek us again. And if they don't, I guess we'll try it, but we'll adapt things down the line, you know? So this is going to be their very first round loss. We might see them try and ramp up the pacing a bit, do a couple of different things, and that's the beauty of having a raw roster that has so much talent like Geekay does, and having an IGL-like leader that can, call things on the ball like that. Don't ask me. I don't know. Don't ask. Just don't. Don't even reference it.
Can't even reference it?
Nope.
It's right there.
Not allowed.
Well, there is one mirror window on the bathroom wall.
The
other, we will not talk about.
Thank you.
We don't see it there that often, is all we'll say. But Geekay with that Capital on the board will definitely try to take control of Garage later on by a very immediate pathway. He just punches it.
Just why? Why is it there? Why? Crest, you're doing so good. Why did you do this to me?
Hey, now they know. They're going for plat wall.
Hey, if you don't know, now you know, There's no way that this is... Okay.
Did it break it?
Yeah, we were both listening. We're like, was that... Yeah, it did.
Listen,
it
all
did.
right, fair enough.
But, here's also the other problem. There's already a huge gap in this wall now. And it's like, yeah, you can toss impact through, and yeah, you guys got a good set of them. But there's a lot of different ways that you can handle this bomb site, so I don't know, man. That just makes it to where you can just naturally hold a cross right there. So it's a little back and forth, but it's working for Crest, right? That impact works out, so we won't give him too much grief about it. Key is going to work in down low, trying to find some homes for his frag grenades. Yopi, speaking of homes, looking to send Key to his. So he's shifting gears here inside of stock. And Keopi should be able to hang around here for quite some time, actually. It's only about halfway through the round right now. And you can see that Crest's strategy, at least as of right now, minus Serenico going down, is working. They've forced them to adjust across and deal with this Mira over inside of bathroom.
Lua starting to face some pressure inside a jacuzzi. Great nade from below. Lua now down. Don't know if they know about it, of course, but as we know, the bathroom position now clear. There is one player now crossed over outside of kitchen. The Legion moves and wins the fight. Geekay down very low on drones. 4 drones remaining as we move into the final minute, so not a lot to dedicate to flanks or things like that. But with Lua down, this is still a man advantage for Geekay.
Here you go, T.O.P. Hit the rotation. Hit the rotation. I think Key's all the way downstairs waiting for him.
Attackers have located a bomb.
He knew exactly where he was going, bro. Read him like a book. Easiest thing in the world for him. Great patience, but Whiskey's going to open the door yet again for some Crest success.
Now Whiskey now tossing out some toxic canisters to stave off the construction push, but both remaining defenders on low HP. Key might just be the savior of this round as leader now goes down. There's a shotgun to contend with. Oh, he just spots the angle. It finally lands in Eclair. This should be a pickup. This should be round 3. Eclair only on 1 HP. He also has control of Cash, but not control of Diffuser. Might just expose himself to the angle a little bit. Eclair wrapping around. Will reveal his position somewhere in server thanks to that impact. He spots him, can't react, but finally does. A huge 3-piece for Key in that round, locking down the flank and opening up the site.
Yeah, I'd like Eclair to kind of calm down a little bit in the 1 versus 1. Yeah, just play time there because you haven't heard him fake the case. You haven't heard him really do much. And also, I mean, just on top of that, he's Sledge, dude. If he does anything at all, you're gonna hear it. So just a little awkward there from him. But I mean, in these high, antsy moments and that kind of stuff, you can definitely see how that would affect him to play things out in that way. But either way, like you said, a 3-1 lead here in favor of Geekay as they do pick up that 3rd round that you were referencing. Nice little shot here from Hisham early. Love these replays, and we're able to get all the kills on the board now.
And especially with this being Crest's first international event, you're going to expect a little bit of antsiness in those 1v1s, in those 1vxs.
A little angst, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they're still able to coordinate in 1v2s, and they certainly can still win them. But in this situation, just not even necessarily peeking or swinging, just like moving around a little bit too much. It's to be expected. They got some nerves to work out. But Geekay, these attacks still have looked very solid so far in Clubhouse. And a 5-1-half, not at all out of the possibility. The only round they've dropped at this point is their 2nd attack on basement. But Jim Betterman, CCTV, they've both won once at this point. And it did take a long time, I will say, to get that clear moving into CC. Came down to a 1v1 as there was an extended run on the map. But here we go. This is about extended and extension as you can get.
I mean, when's the last time we saw this in North America? We haven't been doing this for a little while.
I don't see red shields all that often anymore, sir.
Yeah. I mean, they serve their purpose. I'll definitely say that. I don't think it's a terrible strategy. It's one that actually me and my friends had used for quite some time. But the one downfall of this strat is the fact that if they are able to exploit red stairs, that entire portion of the building is completely open.
Yes.
So, and they're more than likely going to walk away with 2 kills.
But to be fair, this is something that I kind of like from Crest because I wanted to see them take a bit more of an aggressive stance. And if they do end up maybe taking a little bit of fights, Hisham on this window has been so lethal so far. Watching a lot of these flanks for Geekay. Trying to help Crest get aggressive, but Noodle just immediately deals with Whiskey. I think maybe even over on that CCTV side. I'm not entirely sure, but very good opening pick for Geekay achieved in the 1st minute. And no, all the utility, all the players aside from one on the CC side.
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
Wow, that's just so quick to get that too from below.
Off the audio as well. There's no way somebody was droning Logi at that point. There's absolutely no way.
Geekay just don't waste time, man. They just don't waste it. Oh, okay,
Hasham.
well, hold up.
I mean, grenade out, not going to really do too much to TOP, but the beauty of the situation, he does have those adrenal surges to play around with, so Hasham can at least get himself back up around half HP if he continues to burn through those for the remainder of the round. Strix will continue to torch through that wall, and yeah, looks like Noodle is actually going to shift on over to Strip Club here and try and move through. And get some clearance here. That passport check. So they'll clean things out here on the Jacuzzi side. Some easy sledge work to open things up for themselves. Noodle's also discovered a bandit here inside of the bar as Lewis trying to do his due diligence, keeping that nitro cell alive down low just in case the plant came through quickly.
And Lewis definitely been the main guy on Crest so far to try to hit these flanks, and hasn't really been successful so far, 0-4. But as a whole for Geekay, they are being stalled. They got that early pick onto Whiskey, but the utility for Crest is doing a lot of the work, especially that Azami on Khan. Hasham been on this window pretty much the entire round and yet to find anything. TOP with a big pick. Not a second one, though, as Leader's able to trade on the balcony. Lua down below, though, finally finds one with no cash control established for Geekay. That allows Eclair to rotate over, cut down Hasham, who's been on that metal balcony the entire round. Leader slowly crept his way in, but this is where Crest are strong. Just like Geekay, they're patient. They bide their time, and with the 3v2, they know they can back off. Good reaction by Key, takes down Sireneko, and knows someone might be in Khan, but the Mute's backing up, not baiting it. Well, he is baiting it, but not wasting time. The bomb site's vacated, though. The C4 goes out. It finds the coverage, but not the planter. Leader's on the concrete. He can plant this, and now back off to Logi. There's two 1v1s for him right now, but there's one to his left and his right. C4 flies out. Oh, it's a bait. Not, it does blow up. Leader spots him.
Nice.
Easy headshot. Now can focus on the main stairs position as Lua moves in for the kill. This should be an easy round with the intel. Clinical 1v2 backed by the intelligence to send Geekay 4-1.
The drone work there was masterful. And might have exposed it earlier that they may have actually had a drone there in logistics that entire time that we just didn't see the ping from. That's incredible, man. Like you said, it's so wild how quickly Geekay are able to put things together on the offensive side, because we see, I mean, top-tier teams across the globe not be as active at 1.5 minutes as these guys are at 1:50 minutes. So it's really, truly impressive that they're able to do this, and I mean, now across 2 different maps that we've seen for Geekay.
And it's really everyone as well. I mean, there's not really one player on Geekay where I look at them and I'm like, what are you doing? Honestly, the one guy on this team who I would say, not that often, but even the most where I'm like, what's going on is...
Yep, there it is, yellow ping, they had it from Noodle.
I was about to say, in Noodle, and sometimes when he doesn't have things to do early on, when he just kind of has the vague objective to get control, he can get a little too aggressive maybe inside of Secret in that first round. But even then, that's only rarely. Everyone on this roster feels like, all right, I can be doing something, but I don't need to be throwing away my life. I don't need to win the round. I can do this task, do this role, and it works out. When you have situations like this, Leader knows how to play these 1v2s, especially when you have drones. There are just not a lot of consistent mistakes being made on this roster.
Yeah, it's all about buying in, man. You have to buy in and, you know, realize that the people that are playing across the bench with you are also more than likely as talented as you are and are fully capable. And if, you know, you start getting doubt about that kind of stuff, that's when the wheels really start falling off the wagon. But you can see clearly that Geekay just come here, play their game, and it works out for them. And that's really what I truly want for every team. I want them to be able to show up, play their style of Siege, and be confident in what they're doing. Don't ask me again.
I've not seen that one before.
Insane. But imagine if he got the pick, though. Like...
That would have been sick. That would have been a highlight play. But still, you do end up opening Blue Hatch for the attack, and with how much hard breaching is on the board, I mean, we don't have the ace this time. We've got the can openers, the hard breach charges for both Hasham and Noodle alongside the X-Kairos. You've just freed up a bit more utility, unfortunately, by having that hatched off, but could have been a cool play. That had gone on Twitter if it happened, but fortunately it won't. We also have the Grim on the board from Hasham, by the way. Haven't really seen Grim on Clubhouse that much. A lot on Oregon, but I want to see what they decide to do here. Maybe flood Blue with those bees? Fine intel? Blue,
as well as AK. AK is a really good spot. You know, you can also do dummy box back here. There's a bunch of different spots that you can kind of use. So I especially would like it for TOP here because that's going to make it to where he cannot hold down that Mira nearly as successfully. Whenever you get, you know, caught in Grim, it's kind of like the same thing as in, you know, EE1D. When that info's on you, you're kind of risking things, right? So, have to see how it goes. Hasham actually going to add this angle in here from Dirt. See how many EMPs we're going to use this time around. And we're going to go for it again. Waiting things out. Sledge, no nades. Sledge, EMPs instead.
And it works out. They stop the Cade claw trick a second time.
Ooh.
Crest not having a lot in their bag of tricks, but thankfully Whiskey's got enough bullets in the shotgun to cut down Noodle. Moving in through that dirt hallway, we talked about the positions the Bees might land. Dirt certainly one of them, likely AKs later on, but it's working out beautifully so far. A quick triple pump from Whiskey. And a smoke canister to finish it off as Geekay's flood through dirt completely stopped at the door.
Yeah, this has definitely been the least put together round that we've seen out of Geekay so far. And it's mostly because they really didn't have a counter angle minus Key. Key's the one there to try and hold things down so the rotation can't come out from AK and that kind of stuff. But the big problem is that Smoke 9 times out of 10 plays in dirt on this setup. It doesn't really matter the team, that's just his home.
And also no nades either, so you're forced to take a gunfight there.
There it is.
You just have to do it. And against a shotgun close quarters, it's not going to favor you. So now at this point, whereas Geekay, these basement rounds have definitely been closer to 50-50. They've always come down to these floods, come down to winning these gunfights. But before it was even, maybe a 5v5 or a 4v4. Now it's a 2v5, and Geekay are good. But 2v5 with not even any angles looking into Church, even then, this is a bit of a difficult position, despite Key's prowess and leaders just 1v2. Down goes Key on the extremely long angle down the main hallway. Leader finds himself in an unwinnable position with far too low time to even contemplate a chance at winning it. Crest get themselves a 2-4.
And a flawless there to cap it off as well. So very well done from Crest. Fantastic patience and a highlight reel from the Smoke inside of dirt. Masterclass on how to handle that position and also utilize all of your utility at once, right? He's sending so many shots with that M590, all while throwing down the toxic babes. It looks so sick. Oh, let's even the odds.
Yeah, excellent play from Whiskey in dirt, as he really didn't have to think or really do all that much. He's like, my job is hold this close angle with the shotgun. You aren't nading me. He doesn't know they don't have nades, but you aren't nading me. I'll just keep doing that. And the Grim was obviously supposed to scare him back, but once the Bees didn't land at that little around the bend, he's able to play back, play reserved, and ends up beginning what was a flawless round from Crest to end that half, but still a half that overall Geekay won dominantly. Their basement defense or basement attacks definitely seemed, even in the round they won, definitely, I would say the worst only comparatively, whereas the gym bedrooms, the CCTVs, those were excellent from Geekay, and now it's time to see what they do at the side swap.
Yeah, for Crest, definitely a round that they're going to be very, very happy about. For Geekay, I think the only thing that really stood out to me on that was just the setup there for Grim. It just doesn't really feel like the location that you would want him to try and push into, especially with just how the standard setup of basement goes, like we were talking about, right? You have that smoke there, you usually have somebody over on Dummy's box, maybe somebody deep inside of, you know, Armory. That just really tends to be on a 50-50 kind of thing. But that also means that he has to come face to face with Smoke, more than likely, and it just doesn't really seem like you want that. It seems like you'd want to use those bees from like the kitchen hatch, maybe lock up the door,
wider area at least.
Yeah, exactly. Just somewhere to kind of get some oversight and really use that to its fullest advantage. But, you know, Geekay obviously choosing to go the other way instead, and that's how we get this score line here. So Crest going to be starting us out for the very first time on their offensive set, and very straightforward utility lineup here. Really liking what we're seeing, especially with Tiopi coming in with Capital.
The 4-2 half, though, does necessitate that Geekay do need to win some of those bomb sites beyond basement, need to win at least gym or CCTV, some combination of that if they want to close this out in regulation. Also, Maverick fans really winning today. We get now him on another bomb site. Eclair deciding with the Thatcher gone, they'll use the Maverick breaching torch to open up those hatches. Not any secondary EMPs actually on the side of Crest. So where those electric claws are, they've got to worry. Hashon doing quite a bit of damage to the drone economy. Half the round to go and half the drones remaining. Crest got to be careful. Thankfully, no follow-up with that C4.
Yeah, very lucky for Crest.
Still upstairs?
Yes, indeed. Clearing things through, but fortunately enough, Geekay not really having any bodies around there. They are going to have Key, or rather, Geekay will have Key over inside of dirt, but everybody going to be downstairs. So, Claire, instead of having to worry about EMPs, why don't you just torch it open, you know? Blowtorch does the job. And you know what my favorite part about blowtorching hatches is? Everybody's got their own unique way of doing it. Every single time I see a Maverick, it's always some different line combination.
I remember it was somebody, I don't remember who it was on TSN, maybe it was Merc, maybe it was somebody else.
It was Merc. I know exactly what you're about to reference.
They did the lines, yeah, they did the little snake across the top. That was the one he did, and that's how I try to do it, and then I'm not very good with Maverick breaching torches on hatches. Walls are okay. Walls I'm actually good with now. Hatches, not so much. I always get electrified.
Yeah, the key thing for the walls, man, and like, I'm just going to give you this tidbit at home.
This
folks at home. Yeah, pretty sick here from Leader. But just make sure y'all are crouched when you're torching the bottom of the wall. I despise every single one of you that lays on the ground. That's how you get shot in the face, dude. Okay? Let's be smart about this, okay? Oh, my.
Yeah.
Dude, and the funniest thing is that they didn't even bring Ram. That is all Buck just tearing that floor up.
That scale to keep He's so ridiculous. But we got 30 seconds left, by the way, and Crest still don't have an easy way into this. 5v5 utility finally pouring into blue. Noodle can watch the oil pit drop, which is where the Capitao decides to go. He ends up forcing Noodle into the very position. He kills the Capitao, leader in Fort Knox inside a church, able to find Eclair. Sireneko along, push up the main hallway, might just win the round. Key, though, is stuck inside of dirt. Case might just be in the hands of the attack. No, Sireneko's gotta go for the push, and Key wins the 1v1. Crest had a round pulled out of a hat, and it still goes the way of Geekay.
Rabbit ran away, man. Insane stuff out of Geekay. And what patience from Key. Didn't overstep at all. Just stayed tucked inside of dirt and waited to see what the answer was going to be inside of that 1 versus 1. I really appreciate his patience there.
Key has just been so good on this roster.
Yes.
Man. Yesterday, he was so good on NIP, and he has been the standout player for Geekay. Not necessarily in this game, like having the crazy moments of that 1v1 right there. Actually, no, the CC round as well. That's 2 rounds for Key yesterday, and what, did he get like 3-4 huge rounds yesterday? He's been my favorite player to watch on this roster, and somebody you all should keep your eyes on. That man in the middle right there, sitting next to Noodle. That is the man of the hour. 5-2 now, though, for Geekay off the back of that 1v1. They've won basement, and this is where things really need to start hitting the road. If they can win CCTV or Gym, they're in a really good spot to close this out in regulation.
Absolutely. Geekay are firing on all cylinders, man, and I'm really happy that you brought up Key because for me, he's kind of like the heartbeat of this team right now. He's got such solid patience. He's basically just a stoic. That's really what he is he just is stalwart. He's not going to overstep. He's just going to chill and make sure that he does everything fundamentally correctly. And it works for him so very well. And the beauty is it allows people like Noodle to kind of go for some more high-flying antics, which obviously Noodle extremely talented at.
Ooh, bit of a change-up from Crest. We didn't see the blitz in their game yesterday. At least I don't think no, we did not. It was a much slower affair for their Oregon attacks, but with this blitz, something's got to be quick.
Oh, what if we can heck? What is that?
What is on a gym bedroom extension? I like this. Noodle!
Oh no!
The most common run out on this map, and they lose the beating heart of Crest's attacking strategy.
Bomb located by attackers.
The tip of the spear is now gone, broken outside of Kennels. What is Crest to do but fall back on their fundamentals?
I mean, they got to be spinning right now. Yeah, they don't. Oh, yeah. They do not have the info game right now for this.
They are.
This is the angle.
They are doing the angle.
This is the angle.
I never thought I would see this in a pro match.
That's disgusting. What the hell is that?
This is so. Coconut Bra found this angle like a long time ago.
Of course he did.
Yeah, and like I've known about this for a while. I just never thought we'd see it in a pro match. But Sireneko tries to run in, tries to challenge it, and backs up, but I really didn't believe we'd ever see that in a comp match, let alone have it work and put someone down to such low HP.
Yeah, I guess like the key thing is that like it's just not really utilized, so you just don't really consider it, right? I mean, what a smart play here from Geekay. It's completely caught Crest off guard. Sireneko is so low on HP. I mean, he's been able to doctor himself back up, but now Whiskey is in his previous boat. They just switched shoes, so not exactly the greatest thing. Hopefully we can get some new Converse under him. They're trying to. They're patching up the sides right now, but the water's still leaking in.
And Crest they acquired CCTV control very quickly, but there's no second dimension to it. No third dimension even. Jacuzzi wall still solid. Logistics attempted at the moment by Crest as the Flores rotates over to the Logi hatch, but the damage done to Whiskey, to Sireneko, it's going to be looming over them for going into this execute. Even as they use these remaining seconds to find utility, leaders thinks about getting aggressive, but once he's spotted, backs off.
Intelligent play here. Sireneko going to use that frag grenade to try and propel himself forward. Leader, I love this position from him. There's going to be so many people trying to deal with that hallway that they should be distracted, and it's going to be 2 for him. As easy as pie, ladies and gents. It's going to be down to Whiskey. I really like that they put Whiskey on this outside angle because he does have low HP, so really prime position for him. But with that being said, it's going to be a flawless round. He did down the man inside of Gym, but it's not a kill, so it'll go the way of Geek.
1 round away now from being our first team to qualify, or at least qualify via the play-ins to the Swiss stage, as 8 teams are already there, but they will be team number 9. And from the MENA region as well, and we were talking about how this team would match up to Falcons, their previous MENA representative at the Copenhagen Major. And dare I say, obviously, their game against NIP yesterday, played Crest today. I have to say, Geekay might even just be a little bit more impressive at times than Falcons was, because Falcons was a bit more raw, it was a bit more passionate. There were a lot more crazier moments in terms of like huge frags from Joker or Valentino, but it's been such a clean game from Geekay.
You know what it is?
It's so refined.
You know what it is. Say it. Say it.
Is it the boy?
It's the European. That's exactly what it is.
The boy leader.
Leader is in there, and he's putting that European blood right into the MENA region.
I think listen, I think to a certain extent, I certainly agree that leader calling this team is helping quite a bit, but the individual play, I mean, when Key is alone in those moments, he's getting intel from his team, and I'm sure leader's helping, but he's the one that's got to execute it, right? When Hashom is on those windows, I'm sure he's getting information, but he's the one who's got to hold down those flanks.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
Individual game sense on Geekay is still very impressive, again, for this being their first international event for players like Key or Hashom.
Yeah, no, truthfully. And you know, I think that just is hopefully going to stand the test of time for this squad, because, and really what I'm seeing is I'm seeing that, you know, they already kind of had these natural tendencies, right? I think just spending time with leader and discussing his thought process in the game and kind of how EU works and that kind of stuff, I think they just doubled down on that mentality that they kind of already had instilled in themselves, right? Siege kind of does that to all of us. It makes you want to be kind of more of a patient player. The rounds are quite long. You can, I mean, dude, there's times where I was sitting on a window for 2 minutes and 15 seconds because that was my job. You know what I mean?
On a drone for 2 minutes and 15 seconds too.
Like,
Talk about
exactly.
slow.
it's insane. I know. Like you're droning out like Villa. It's just like, oh, all right, well.
And then you're like, do I check the basement? Nah, I won't. Oh, great. There's a cav down there. Awesome. Sit.
Oh, so the round's over already? Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
Be careful, Noodle.
No, I love it.
Listen,
go, Noodle, go.
You get lucky once, but
we're going to get lucky.
Not get lucky again.
Thrice, because there's 2 people.
Remember Wolves versus Bliss yesterday. They were at this position and lost on the run out, but he's got the timing down pat. Both on rappel. He only finds one. That is more than enough to count as a victory in the early round.
Oh, yeah, especially when you take out Finka, modern-day Finka, like we're back to what she was, right? Frag grenade's gone and all those adrenal surges as well.
And no opportunity for a trade either from Crest. Hashom tries to, second-guessed himself, but still had enough time to react with the impact, so a bit of hard-reaching utility wasted. He'll have to use a second one. And Hashom now out of changing max.
Lua put it too tall. That really sucks. Is he out as well? No, he's got one more. But
still, the waste coming out from Geekay to stop those Selma charges, impressive so far.
Yeah, most definitely. They do have a Claire, but the problem is now is that there's already a hole in the wall. So
they did the mirror too.
It's such a goofy way of handling things over there, but it works. Like, I mean, you can't knock it too hard, right? It's just like that's usually what you clown randoms for in ranked. Is like, why the hell are you slapping the mirror on the double panel? But hey, I mean,
he doesn't check bathroom.
He doesn't check it. That's why I was just sitting here, because I genuinely didn't know what was going to happen there. Lou was going to be able to pick up Hashom because he'll double back and take the fight.
That was a miss.
Yeah, you don't really want to do that against the AK-12, do you?
Yeah, still puts a Lou at a low HP, but yeah, definitely Hashom, I think, getting a little too aggressive on that re-swing there. I get the instinct, I get the urge, it's understandable, but definitely...
Just kill him.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely probably could have just backed off a little bit, moved downstairs, especially when actually Trixt is down below, so that was a completely safe rotation. So, all right. Bit of a heat check from Hashom right there, but he got the kill on the buck at least and has still made it a 4v3. Trix can easily spot this. This is a kill and a half right here. He's just got to wait for the re-aggress.
Patience is a virtue, Trix. Do not overstep. Don't even make any noise. You can just sit patiently here and await the arrival of Crest on this single panel, because they're going to have to do something about it. They might have to go for the door as well, but we'll just have to see. Claire's going to wrap around and try and break up the window here for CCTV, or rather server. Key is also going to be playing here inside of Rafters. This is one of the key positions that we see when it comes to this bomb site, a very, very pivotal one. And with 30 seconds remaining, this is something that Crest is seriously lacking.
And Garage just holding for the defense for so long. Finally, the jump out from Trixt. Down below, rotates up. Now Whiskey's got to be scared. Oh, he's concussed himself. Can't react to the MP7. Lou all alone in the 1v4 as Geekay will be our first team to qualify to the Swiss stage.